Welcome to the Be Happy Now show. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. I'm Claudia-Sam. If you know that you're here for a bigger reason, this is the place to be. Together, we ditch the self-care guilt and quit the go with less fear and more trust. Tune in to living life in alignment with your full potential. The Be Happy Now show starts now. Hi, this is episode 128 of the Be Happy Now show, and I'm so glad to be with you today. And I'm feeling really inspired to share 5 relationship secrets with you. Why? Well, I've been having these conversations inside my coaching growth groups with my clients, and they were asking, how can I fully be myself with my partner? And how are ways that it works for you? Because some of them are wanting more reconnection with their partner, more ability to, be themselves and communicate from their heart without the fear of being shut down, or without giving their partner more power than they give to themselves, kind of finding that equal balance. And some of my clients are kind of ignoring their desires because they're afraid, again, of being shut down or being turned away or judged. And that's not my experience. If you're in a relationship where maybe your partner is wanting to participate in your business or in your personal growth and tries to fix you by offering solutions when they see you maybe feeling a bit stressed or anxious, and you're like, there is nothing to fix, but that is their way of communicating and trying to be part of your life, well, there's a way for you to keep your power and to still hold space for you while letting your partner be who they are. I've been with Pierre Michelle for 11 and a half years, and there are some things that I shared with my clients during these conversations that have been really insightful for them. So I thought, let me bring them to you. These practices, you can take a lot of them, you can take some of them, and it has to do with not dimming your light and really being anchored in your worthiness so that you don't have to shape yourself to anyone else. Doesn't mean you can't, try your partner's barbecuing hobby and give it a go. It means that you don't have to make barbecuing a career because it's their thing, right? Especially if it doesn't light you up at all. I'm going to invite you to send me a direct message. So find me on social media, friend me first, and then DM me the word emotions if you want to receive my list of emotions, my handout for emotions, so that you can really play with what's really going on with you, because there are different layers of emotions, and it can be really helpful to tune into how you're really feeling before you go ahead and communicate, however something might not feel super in alignment for you with your other half. Ready? Okay. The secret 1 to feeling like you can be fully yourself with your partner is to know yourself. This means knowing your values, knowing what you want, what your love language is, knowing how you like to be treated, basically knowing who the truth of who you are is. You get to know yourself better. You get to know what that is like for you, what it is at the core of your heart that feels so much in alignment. Knowing yourself at your light, at that level of your soul self, and right in there with your intuition. When you know yourself, you know that feeling of, ooh, yeah, that feels good, or, oh, that feels like it's not fully in alignment, it doesn't feel good. If you feel, for example, when someone asks you something and your response, instead of tuning inward and accessing how that feels like for you, really sensing in your body, hey, is this feeling stretchy? Is this feeling expansive? So is it feeling tense, constricted, or is it feeling expansive and super light and opportunistic? you go to your calendar and your schedule and you let your schedule dictate what you're a yes to, this can be super relatable in your relationship as well. Because when you know yourself, when you know inside the why behind the way your schedule is, it can help you define how your schedule can be in the future, so that whenever you say yes to things, it can come from an inner place. So it doesn't mean that you always have to know where you're headed or how things are going to work out for you, because one of the things that my first coaches has taught me is that you have to get out of the how. Get the F out of the how. Your job is to tune into what you want and to raise your energy frequency vibration to that, to where your clients are, to where your joy is, to what lights you up, to what you want. When you make decisions from that place, then you let the universe support you and co-create with you. So you get out of the how. And so that's by knowing yourself, because you don't need to know how things are going to work out or where you're going to go. It just means being able to fill in the blank after these two words: I am. Who are you? So secret number one to leading, to being in a relationship by fully being yourself is to know yourself. And I invite you to tune in and fill in those next two words after I am. Secret number two, which is a way to fully be yourself with your partner, is to trust in your worthiness for like a quality. Like, trust that your worthiness is a quality in yourself. That means that neither you or your partner are better or worse. There isn't one that is higher up in the hierarchy than the other. There's not one person who's better, like good enough versus not good enough. If you've been putting your partner up on that pedestal in a way that it diminishes your power, that gives you less decision-making power, that gives you pretty much the leftovers of praise and value and love, it lowers your importance when you are equally important in the world. So it's time to put yourself out there too. And this isn't about diminishing someone's light and being like, I'm going to dim your light. I'm going to bash on you and judge you and tell you everything that's wrong with you so that I elevate myself. No, that's not what this is about. This isn't about finding what's wrong with our partner. It's about bringing ourselves up there as well. Because if you're treating your partner, if you're valuing their input and you're valuing their way of being as beautiful and what you want, and you're so in awe of them in a way that you ask them for permission of something, or in a way that has you make decisions based on what their schedule says instead of what your intuition says, well, that's trusting in their worthiness to qualify what's good enough for you or what's not. When actually you get to be your own qualifying meter of worthiness, right? You get to bring yourself at that same equivalent place. And you may say, oh, I don't think that my partner has the same equivalence. I don't actually like how they are with this area of life, or how they may be in scarcity over there, or how, you see what I mean? There may be some parts of your partner that you're like, ooh, there's places where I don't want to wear that habit. I don't want to have that belief and take it on as myself. Except if you go to them for permission, or if you energetically brace or constrict or contract anytime you want to communicate with them because there may be a fear of what they're going to say or how they're going to respond, well, that is giving them some power. That is trusting in their worthiness more than yours. There can be a nice balance of, let's have a discussion together. Let's bring both of our ways of being into the picture, right? So this is not what I mean. I'm not saying that you don't get to consult your partner. Rather, you get to trust in your worthiness at the same level that you trust in theirs. Secret number 3 to fully being yourself in a relationship. Does anyone really have to be right? or blamed as wrong. This is never a place in my relationship where we go. We never, ever are in a place where we would argue over who's right or wrong, because that would mean that one of us is so anchored in the desire to win, to be better, to come out as the best, and therefore to be right, instead of opening our ears and listening to where the other person's come from is. It doesn't mean that you have to agree. It doesn't mean that you either have to live with someone who completely disagrees with what you're doing. I choose to eat plant-based. If Pierre Michelle was choosing to have steak and to cook in our kitchen with the same utensils and pans, and he was choosing to keep steak in the fridge, for example, that would completely be disrespectful for me. That would make me feel super disrespected, or rather, I would feel disrespected. That's better. I would feel disrespected because I don't want that in my house. I don't want the smell. I don't want to see it. It comes and accesses my, it activates all parts of me that don't want the energy of fear and of killing around my energy. I'm choosing that. And if he was so set in his ways that he needed to have that in our house, because I don't prevent him from eating meat outside the house. Like, he went for 3-day trainings, and when he asked me what I ate, I described my beautiful Buddha bowl with spinach and quinoa and avocado and falafel, so whatever you can call that bowl, like. And I said, "What did you have for dinner?" He said, "Oh, I had stuff we don't have for dinner usually. We don't eat at home." I'm like, great. I don't need to ask him exactly what he had, because he's his own person. So I don't care about either of us being wrong or right. That would just be fostering disagreement, fostering anger and low vibe frequencies, when, okay, whatever, he gets to make his own decision, and I still get to stand in my worthiness and believe that I get to ask for what I want. And my request is that we don't cook meat inside the house. That's it. And I get to be okay with that. Okay. About this. In a relationship, I believe that we're not in a classroom trying to debate our point of views. It's not a competition. We're not graded to have an A+ on a paper. We're not trying to debate who's going to come out on the best, because we're not competing. We're collaborating. We're contributing to each other's lives. So I'm in a partnership where there's constant exchanges and contributions to each other's human growth. And by holding on to the need to be right or proving someone else wrong, I'm just defying the purpose of letting myself be loved and allowing myself to grow. So let's just recap. Secret number 1 was to know yourself. Number 2, to trust in your worthiness as much as you trust in your partner's worthiness. And secret number 3 was you don't have to hold on to the need to be right or the need to blame someone as wrong. There's 2 more. And before we go there, I do have a coaching question for you, so you're welcome to write this down. Are you willing to have everyone be in their right to have whatever point of view that they have, without it taking anything away from the level of love that you hold for one another? I'm going to ask this again. Are you willing to have everyone in the relationship be in their right to have whatever point of view that they have, without it taking anything away from the level of love that you hold from one another, that you hold for one another? Okay. That is beautiful holding of what a relationship gets to be. You are 2 100% entities that come together to create a 200% container and partnership. It's not 50-50, it's 100-100. And I love that, because we each have our individuality and we can contribute to living in a 200% playground. Okay, secret number 4 to fully being yourself with your partner in your relationship. This is something I learned from Brené Brown. Kind of, when you hear something and it just stays with you. And it's not like I'm a Brené Brown fan per se. Like, I've never read her books, actually. I think this comes from the documentary that she has on Netflix, which is her TED Talk. I think more than her TED Talk. Anyway, there's a place where I heard Brené Brown say this, and since then it's really stuck with me. So I'm really grateful because I've been practicing this for myself for years now. Anytime I'm in a conversation or a situation where there is an action that I, for some reason, take personally, I check in with myself and I tune in to what the internal story that I'm making is. Okay, so once I've identified what that internal fake theatrical play that my mind has been so creatively great in creating, the story that my mind has made up, when I'm tuned into what that is, I go to my partner and I say this out loud. The story going on in my head is, and I share what that is. What this does is that it actually takes me out of the story being real. It has me be a witness to whatever that story I'm entertaining is. And I'm giving a voice to the story, because otherwise it's just going to keep ruminating in my head. And that's just contributing to the inner critic being really loud up there. So it's not about what the action or the words that my partner did or whatever he said. It's about what I'm interpreting them to be and how I'm relating it to myself. So whatever situation happened, whatever action, there was one time I'm looking at his bike just being close to my desk actually right now. And I remember that one time when the action was bringing my bike inside to fix it. But that what happened is that the chain kind of got loosened up and I needed to use my bike. And so the chain wasn't like it wasn't on the thing anymore. Great. He's a super great bike enthusiast, and I don't even know what that's called. That thing that the chain goes on. So it was loose, and I had to put it back on so that the bike would work. And I remember being really angry because I was judging it. I was saying, great, I'm not important enough for him to finish the job, which is completely untrue. It just so happened that I don't even remember what happened, if he forgot or if it just, by me moving the bike, it fell off or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. What matters is what I was, and in these situations, when I'm interpreting whatever's happened, the situation, when I'm interpreting it as it means something about me. Well, is that true? 95% of the time, the story is definitely made up. It's just like 5% of the time when it's not. Then we address it head on, instead of beating around the bush for hours and making assumptions of what this all means, especially in our head. Like, we just get to go, this is the story, and then the other person can address the story. It means nothing about who we are as humans. And we just go, oh, wow, well, my mind is just very creative. And that's it. It's over, right? So next time that you find yourself overthinking something or turning a situation or something that your partner has said and you're turning it into a story and you're entertaining it and it's just taking more and more and more presence and space in your mind, just remember, what's the story I'm entertaining here? What's the theatrical play? And this could be true for a colleague at work as well, right? This doesn't have to apply for a romantic relationship. This is, I believe, I apply this for any relationship. Yeah. Okay, secret 5. This is the last secret to help you be fully yourself with your partner or in a relationship. And P.S. if you want to receive my list of emotions, my emotions handout to help you recognize the real emotions within of what's really going on, just find me on social media, friend me, make sure that you do that, because then otherwise I don't see your message. And then just DM me, direct message me the word emotions, and I'll share the handout with you. The last secret is all about setting loving boundaries. And I originally learned this from one of my energy coaches, Susan Batson. And it's not only been powerful in communicating from a place of the heart what I want. Like, I want a loving environment in my kitchen. Hence, I would like not to have meat, because that for me has a killing energy and a fear energy that I do not wish to have in my kitchen. Period. I'm not judging anyone else. So, this is an example of how someone can take that, make them mean that I'm judging them or that whatever they're doing and that their choices are wrong, when that's a story. I'm sharing how I'm feeling in my kitchen. And the story that may be entertained in someone else's mind is all on them. Okay? So the last secret is about setting loving boundaries. And communicating from the heart, it's a great place to recognize what's really going on. Okay? When we set loving boundaries, we get to really turn the mirror within and go, ooh, okay, I want to communicate what I want because either there was a boundary that was breached, or I didn't feel disrespected, or often what happens is that people feel, I say people, my clients and myself. Often it starts with this secondary emotion like anger or sadness or grief. And ultimately there's something underneath there that is the primary emotions. Hence the list of emotions, the emotions handout, that could be really useful to tune into that. Because once you know what that is, once you recognize what's really going on within yourself, you get to then not make it about your partner. It's not about what they said. It's not really about what they did. It's about you feeling unloved or disrespected or pushed aside or judged or blamed. Like, there's a deeper feeling at play here. And the action of what your partner or this person in the relationship has done is simply contribute to turning on the light in that room of that emotion in your life so that you can handle it. So that you can go, ooh, okay, let me be with that. Because if I'm triggered, if this doesn't feel right, if I'm triggered, this has happened before, and this is just helping me remember that I've not healed that. There are teachers. Every relationship, partner, friend, colleague, boss that we're in, they're all our teachers. As much as annoying as that can be sometimes, we're in relationships to be learning partners. Yeah. In setting loving boundaries, we look at how we really feel so that we can communicate that. Once we communicate from a place of how we're feeling truthfully, not just on a secondary emotional I'm angry level, but also in a primary emotional level, like I explained, we get to talk to someone's heart except to someone's head. We get to talk to someone's heart instead of someone's head. Setting loving boundaries happens in 3 steps, and that's one of the many tools that I share within the Soul Connector Circle, which is my online community where you get to receive daily soul connection coaching pocket messages. So you receive these as a way to keep flexing your soul connection muscle, being held accountable to be yourself fully daily. Feel free to check it out, soulconnectorcircle.com. And in there, you get to be coached on these things that we're exploring today, and you get to have access to over 500 messages and resources like setting loving boundaries in my own little way after practicing it myself and really implementing that in my life. And that's what I share inside of the Soul Connector Circle, one of the many ways, so that you can really, truly be in your worthiness and stand in your power in this way. Okay, so setting loving boundaries. And it starts at tuning into how you feel really so that you could communicate from that truth place and really communicate to someone's heart instead of someone's head. So these are my 5 secrets to really fully be yourself in a relationship with your partner. I hope that these are valuable for you. And if you already have the emotions handout and you just want to share with me how valuable this episode was for you, make sure to like and subscribe on wherever you find the podcast, and that you leave a 5-star review, because I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
You've been listening to the Be Happy Now show with me, Claudia-Sam. Flex your soul connection muscle and be your inner guide to fulfillment and purpose. You are worthy of being you and of connecting to what stops you from living the life you are meant to live. Access more soul connection coaching at claudiasamcoaching.com.